I'm Rachel Bell, and this is Your Last Meal, the show where celebrities share stories about the foods they love most, and we dig into the history, culture, or science of those meals with experts from around the world. Today on the program, Eve Plum, the actor who played Jan Brady, the middle daughter on the Brady Bunch. Are you so tired of people yelling Marsha, Marsha, Marsha at you? I'm sure they do.
Sometimes.
Last week, Eve released her memoir, Happiness Included, Jan Brady and Beyond. When Eve got that part back in 1969, her parents took her out to dinner at a Hollywood hotspot called Martoni's. Later in the show, Los Angeles food writer Catherine Spires will spill all the vintage martini-soaked Martoni celebrity gossip. But right now, let's hop into my conversation with Eve Plum. Let's talk about the start of your career. You started acting when you were 6 years old. How did that happen?
That happened. Well, I mean, it's a weird thing because I was born at St. Joseph's Hospital in Burbank, which is right across the street from Disney Studios. And then my parents were helping to found a church, and they were using services in a movie theater. So that's where I was baptized. And then when I was about 6 years old, a children's agent moved in next door to us. And I was a chatty little kid and chatted her up. So she ended up saying to my mom, well, you know, let's send her out on an audition. And I went on the audition and I got the job, and I've been working ever since.
So your very first audition, you got the part.
Yeah.
Wow. The universe really wanted you to be in show business.
I guess so. I wish it happened more often now. I would go on an audition and get the job. I mean, when I was a kid, I had a busy schedule of auditioning and jobs and auditioning and jobs. It was all TV, all those Westerns that were going on in the 60s. I did most of those, which was fun.
So what was the first commercial that you got at 6?
It was for Final Touch fabric softener. I had to button up my sweater while walking backwards saying, Mommy, her nightgown's just like the one Grandma gave me. And
you still remember your line.
Yeah. That's probably the only line of dialogue I do remember.
6 when you got your first role, and then 10 when you got Jan on the Brady Bunch. How did you get that part?
I got that part. It was a cattle call where they just had hundreds of children. They different hair colors, and they grouped us into groups by ages. And I didn't make the first cut, but then I had a call back with Sherwood Schwartz and John Rich. And they said, well, she looks like our girl, meaning Florence Henderson. So then I had the job. I guess maybe my resume spoke for me. I had already done several pilots and lots of TV shows and commercials.
If I'm remembering right from the book, you didn't actually read any lines for them, did you?
No, I don't think so. No. I think they figured, if she can do all this other work, she's probably okay.
If she can talk about fabric softener, she can do anything.
That's true.
So when you got the part, tell me about that night your parents took you out for dinner.
Yeah, we went to a place called Martoni's. I don't know if it's still there. And I ordered spaghetti and baked potato. That's still my favorite foods. And then spumoni for dessert, which spumoni, I don't know. It seems like too many flavors all at once. It can't decide what it wants to be.
Can you remind me what spumoni is?
It's like a tricolored ice cream. It comes in a slice. So it's like strawberry, chocolate, and vanilla.
Okay. Like Neapolitan. Yeah.
Yeah.
In 1969, Eve and her parents had a celebratory dinner at Martoni's. It was an Italian-American restaurant in Hollywood that opened in May of 1961 and closed in 1994. Owned by Mario Marino and Tony Riccio. Where does the name come from?
Mario and Tony.
Okay, got it. That's Catherine Spires, food writer and editor of HowToEatLA.com. Catherine loves to feature hidden gems, Los Angeles restaurants that don't get a ton of media attention. And she really loves writing about restaurants of yore, like Martoni's.
Their location at the time was right in the middle of most of the music businesses and most of the recording studios in Los Angeles. So they very quickly had a celebrity clientele that was mainly the music side of the entertainment business. So that got them a lot of attention. There was a heavy Frank Sinatra influence.
So what did it look like inside? Because now I'm picturing the like red booths and like Rat Pack vibe.
Yes, that's exactly right. And the mid-century restaurant aesthetic in LA was very much dark wood, Naugahyde booths, faux Tiffany stained glass, a lot of tableside service. They even had, the candles and the empty wine bottles. The food seemed to me to be extremely of the era. Los Angeles loves its heavy dishes. I always laugh about the fact that in the 50s and 60s in Los Angeles, absolutely the hottest dish in town was chili.
Really?
Yes.
Even at a place like this?
So the chili at Chasen's in particular was world famous. Elizabeth Taylor had it shipped to her when she was abroad.
Wow.
So this is pretty hot stuff.
And this is chili how we would think of chili today, like chili cook-off, football game, tailgating.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. People would make reservations to go to Chasen's to get the chili. And in the same way, this Martoni's was an Italian restaurant. They did not have chili per se, but they were known for having a lot of veal dishes, which seems to be sort of common in this time and place. A lot of the sausage and peppers, a lot of appetizer platters. So people would specifically talk about the antipasto, which to me is a little bit silly because that's store-bought stuff. But, I don't have any reference for that. Maybe in 1961 in Los Angeles, people hadn't had like salami and prosciutto and figs and cheese all together. Maybe that was a new thing.
I think we can relate to that, though, because charcuterie boards have been insane the past several years. And that's also just store-bought food that's arranged nicely. And that just doesn't seem to be going away.
No, you're absolutely right.
So that's the nuts and bolts of Martoni's. But the reason I wanted to chat with Catherine is because she dug up all kinds of juicy celebrity gossip, starting with the aforementioned Frank Sinatra. Catherine has a theory that he may have been one of the restaurant's owners.
He was co-owner of a couple other Italian-American restaurants. I never saw it reported anywhere that Frank Sinatra was the owner of Martoni's. However, I guess for a good run there, he was there weekly at least. And he would usually come in with his crew, unnamed men in suits and sunglasses, who would sort of form a barrier around him. I guess it was a ritual. Anytime Frank Sinatra was in, the entire staff would line up at some point to get their $100 tips doled out. So he was a known quantity there. He threw a lot of parties there. His children, Nancy and Frank Jr., also threw a lot of parties there. But here's the thing where I was like, oh, did he own this? So Frank Sinatra's album Ring-a-Ding-Ding was released on May 7th, 1961. And on July 26th, 1961, Martoni's applied for its cafe entertainment permit, and the company was called Ring Ding Ding Inc.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so it's missing the A, but I was like, that's so close, and would it be an homage?
And the album hadn't been out long enough for it to be a part of the zeitgeist, that
exactly.
phrase.
Yes, exactly.
And missing the A could have just been an easy typo.
Totally. Salvatore Marino, who was the brother of one of the co-founders of Martoni's, he started as the bartender, and then he bought the restaurant. And then as part of his press tour, when he bought the restaurant, his whole thing was, I used to be Frank Sinatra's personal chef.
Oh, I think you have a good theory.
Thank you so much.
I like it. Yes. You also think that the restaurant might be tied to Sam Cooke's death?
Yes, it is the last place he was seen in like a public setting before he died at a motel, or in the wee hours of the next day. But he had gone to Martoni's with a music producer and the wife of the music producer. The three of them were going to have dinner together. But then he spotted a woman in the bar, and he left his dinner companions to go hang out with this woman in the bar. And she was probably paid by somebody to be there. But there's a lot of people who think that Sam Cooke was set up at Martoni's. His last meal was at Martoni's. That's
this
the whole
is
concept
perfect.
of your show.
This has never come up in the 10 years, honestly.
I don't mean to blow your mind.
Wait, I'm going to stop you real quick. Do you know what Sam Cooke's last meal was?
No, because I'm actually not sure that he actually ate a meal because he got so distracted by the lady in the bar.
His last being in a restaurant.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Let's continue just with the celebrity gossip before we get into other stuff, or celebrity facts. You can decide. What's the story with Sonny Bono?
Sonny. Yeah, I believe it was in 1965 where he actually got 86 from the bar at Martoni's, basically for looking like such a long-haired hippie freak. They did not like his outfit.
He got kicked out just because of his outfit and his hair.
Yes, that is my understanding. Who knows how he was behaving, but every recollection about it that I've read has just been like, yeah, the Martoni's guys were just so old school and so formal, and he came in like a fringed vest or something like that, and they were like, nah, you got to get out of here. And then he went on to write a song that wasn't really a hit song on its own, but it was the B-side to I Got You, Babe. And it was about, feeling rejected from the cool club, which was Martoni's.
God. This freaking restaurant that I'd never heard of has a lot of really good stories attached to it.
It really does. It's so interesting. I think just by virtue of where it was, I noticed that Rock Hudson and Claudia Cardinale were sent on their dates in the 60s when the studios were trying to, make them seem more intriguing.
And is this also, for people who don't know, was this to make him appear straight?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
100%. Yes.
Okay. Just read between the lines. Yeah.
Yes. 100%.
After the break, Eve Plum reveals her last meal, an Italian-ish dish inspired by a fast food hamburger. Tell me about your eating life at home. You were growing up in the 60s and the 70s, the era of convenience food. Your mom's from Oklahoma, but you're living in Southern California, which is so close to the San Fernando Valley. So what was it like at home eating?
Yeah, well, we were in the San Fernando Valley. So
you were? Okay.
Yes, yeah, Van Nuys. So it was pretty plain. Dinner was sort of on a TV tray. The only dinners we had that were formal at the table was Thanksgiving and Christmas. Other than that, it was TV dinners. Also got to sample the foods of the time. I remember I was able to eat space food sticks. I don't know if anybody remembers those. Space food sticks was a box of these tubes of, it wasn't quite frosting. It was a little thicker than that. It was supposed to be like what the astronauts ate. So it was peanut butter flavored or chocolate flavored, but it had some protein in it or something. Yeah, space food sticks.
Interesting. The space ice cream that you can still get was freeze dried. So it was very chalky, and dry and crumbly.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Huh. Interesting. You took your spaghetti a very special way. Tell me about that.
Yes. I don't know how I started this, but my folks would make spaghetti on Sundays, or actually whatever night of the week Lassie was on. And they were, I think, probably ahead of their time in the 60s. They would make their own spaghetti sauce with tomato sauce and tomato paste canned, but they had crushed garlic and oregano. So I think that was probably pretty spicy for the 60s to actually use fresh garlic. And then I like to put a piece of American cheese on it. I don't know how that happened, but tear that up, it melts on there, and it's delicious.
I bet, because remember the commercials for the Kraft singles, and it's like so gooey. So it probably made your spaghetti so melty and gooey.
Right, it did, yeah.
You still do that?
Oh, yeah, I still do. I like it a lot.
Who cooked at home, and what were some of the other staples?
I don't remember. Food was sort of like, well, my dad used to say some people live to eat, we eat to live.
Right.
So we had spaghetti. Occasionally, one of them would make a Southern dish, which was beans with ham in it. Mom would make at Christmas and Thanksgiving the sauerkraut, which was sauerkraut and red apples and onions that you sort of cooked and simmered all day long till it got brown and kind of mushy. Mm-hmm. Sort of an acquired taste, but it's something that means the holidays to me.
I like that kind of thing personally. Yeah. Because your family was Czech. Is that right?
My mother's family was Czech. Yeah. Okay. Her father had come over from Czechoslovakia and they settled in Oklahoma.
And that's something you still serve today, right? That's a holiday favorite?
Yes. Yeah, as a holiday. My husband's family is Polish, so that's a sauerkraut avenue as well. So sometimes we have sauerkraut just 'cause.
You guys must have a very healthy microbiome, a good gut.
Yes. Yes.
We should get to the big question of the show. What would your last meal be?
I think it's what we've talked about, right? Isn't that what I said? It would be the spaghetti.
I don't know. I didn't ask you the question yet. I was just asking you about childhood favorites. Is that your last meal?
It's the spaghetti. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So the spaghetti with the homemade tomato sauce.
Yes. And the cheese.
And the cheese.
And the yeah.
In the book you'd mentioned like the green can of Parmesan. Is that on there too?
It is. It is. This is actually what I had for lunch today. We didn't have any American cheese, so I had to use the Parmesan cheese, the Kraft Parmesan cheese. So yeah, but that's definitely what I had for lunch because it was heated up from last night's dinner, which my beautiful husband added delicious garlic sausage to the sauce.
That sounds a little classy for this American cheese situation.
True.
Yeah.
So I didn't have the American cheese, but that would be my last meal for sure. Something really familiar, very, very safe and comfortable. I wouldn't want to color outside the lines on a last meal.
No.
And because what if you didn't like it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Does it taste like it did when you were a kid, or is it like a different version?
I think it tastes like it did when I was a kid. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does. Yeah, we call it Ken sauce. And it's great because he does the same thing of the tomatoes and the paste and the onions and all of that. Yeah. So his version is the best.
Do you want anything along with this for your last meal? You can have whatever you want. Dessert, drink, side dish.
So the thing is like, okay, last meal, but why? I'm like, is it a death row situation or?
That's up to your interpretation, because of course it's just a catalyst for conversation. Some people take it very literal. Some people don't at all.
Yeah, I have a tendency to be very literal.
To me, it's like, what do you love the most?
Right.
Things that have memory. Neil deGrasse Tyson wants lobster because he took it literal because he thought I could be cracking this lobster for hours and they won't be able to get me. You know, I'm going to prolong the death.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Probably just the simplicity of it, the familiarity of it. I mean, as a kid, I guess I would drink milk with it, which I wouldn't do now. But there's not even like a beverage or a dessert or anything, you know.
You could have 3 bowls instead of having dessert. Yeah. Adults have really turned on the glass of milk. I think I'm like the last one standing. I still like a glass of milk. I mean, I don't have it with dinner like I'm 4, but I would probably if it was around more often.
Yeah. I have it with peanut butter and jelly.
Yes.
I have it on cereal.
And like with chocolate cake, I feel like you just need it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll add a slice of chocolate cake and a glass of milk.
Oh, the power of suggestion.
Yes. Yeah. As long as it doesn't have too much frosting. I've got very specific cake likes and dislikes.
Tell me more.
Well, nowadays you do layer cake, and for some reason now it's 3 layers that are this big with this much frosting in between. And I don't want the frosting. I just want the cake.
I agree. It's too much frosting. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember even as a kid, people loved, you know, when you just get in the 80s, the cans of frosting, and the kids loved that. I didn't like it even when I was a kid.
Yeah. No, it's too sweet. It's too much.
Too sweet. For her last meal, Eve Plum wants the spaghetti she's loved since she was a kid, mixed with tomato sauce and topped with a slice of melted American cheese. In 1977, you were in a Burger Chef commercial.
Open wide, America. Burger Chef's got thick, juicy, terrific burgers for you. 100% all beef. We really work hard to serve them hot and delicious, so you can take them to our works bar and make them taste even better, the way you want them. You're gonna love our burgers.
Open wide, America. You never can forget. You get more to like at Burger Chef.
Tell me about your own fast food ritual and where that started.
Oh, right. Yeah. I think also because my mother was not a big cook. I was, again, an only child. So after school, we would go for drives, just drive around the San Fernando Valley. And at that time, there were a lot of ranches. So we would go see horses, you know, or we would go to Jungle Land. There was a place called Jungle Land. It was not quite a zoo. It was more of a repository of movie animals. But we would stop for McDonald's. And that's still road food favorite today, cheeseburger and a Coke and fries. And I think that's sort of where the spaghetti thing comes in, because it's that ketchup American cheese taste that I think
Oh.
is what happens there with the American cheese on the spaghetti.
That totally makes sense. After the break, Eve and I talk more about the Brady Bunch. She says the now iconic TV show was not an immediate hit. And she talks about which castmates she still hangs out with. I was going to ask you what it was like to be on such a popular hit show, but then I read in your book, you said it wasn't actually that popular at the time.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. I could remember adults. They would say, "What show are you on?" "I'm on the Brady Bunch." "Oh, I don't watch television."
Do you think they just were avoiding that they don't watch the Brady Bunch?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think, but yeah, it was just such a look down your nose kind of a thing. It's really funny.
What about it was, why did people look down on it?
Oh, because it was, this is what the late 60s, early 70s. And see, nowadays, if a show is happy and friendly, it gets acclaim. Like, I'm trying to think of
Like Ted Lasso?
Thank you. I think Ted Lasso, everybody's so happy to have Ted Lasso, but Brady Bunch was seen as saccharine and not relevant. On the same lot they were shooting was Mod Squad and Star Trek and things like that. So, we were just seen as fluff, not important.
So when did it become a show that people started to revere? Because it's been 50 years and it's still on TV.
Right. Yeah. I think that's because it was inexpensive.
Okay.
Because they didn't have to keep paying residuals after the 10th run of each show. And then it became an after school thing for children. And it's just generations of children watching it and then having nostalgia factor about it.
I mean, for me, like having one sibling, it just was so foreign to have so many kids at home. That was interesting to me. And then at that time, especially when you were on it, like to have a divorced family, with a remarriage and a blended family, that was pretty unusual.
Yeah. Yeah. That was about as that, and the double bed for the parents was about as racy as we got.
Oh, they shared a bed. Is that right?
Yes, that was a big deal. Yeah. They didn't have twin beds like married couples did on TV at that time.
Were they one of the first to share a bed?
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Groundbreaking.
I know. My grandparents didn't share a bed, but my grandma said it was because he snored. Who knows the truth?
Oh, yeah. No, that's definitely what happens. But I think Mike and Carol were a little younger.
Yeah, they weren't snoring
Newlyweds.
yet. Yeah. Tell me about your years on the Brady Bunch. So you started at 10. You must have ended at 15 or 16.
Yeah.
It was 5 seasons. What was it like growing up in front of America? And those are the most awkward years. I mean, you went through puberty in front of the whole country.
Right. Yeah. It's one of those things you just really can't think about too much while it's going on. Just keep going. Work through the embarrassment.
It sounded like you had a good experience as a child actor.
I really did. I got to work with famous people. I got to work with trained animals. So much fun. And to get to be on those sets in the back lots. When I was an adult and I was up in New England, and it was a great little New England town with a covered bridge. And then there was a phone booth there. And I immediately figured that phone booth was fake because this all looked like a back lot. So that's not a real phone booth.
Life was a set for you.
Right. Yeah.
Eve was 16 when the final episode of The Brady Bunch aired, and she did plenty of acting after that. TV, movies, off-Broadway shows. For people who only know you from The Brady Bunch, what are you up to these days?
I've been painting in oils. I've started a home goods company called Plumb Goods and put my designs on home products, tote bags and mugs and phone cases, and also renovating houses.
You had some HGTV something, right?
Oh, that's right. HGTV. Yeah, that was great. That was really great. HGTV bought the house that was just the opening shot of Brady Bunch house and just been designated a historic monument, which is funny because it's a fake house. Took a picture of this house. This is the house. And then when they show us inside the house, we are on stage.
Right.
Put on stage.
Was
then
a real
HGTV managed to take that house and rebuild it to look exactly like the stage set.
Are you in touch with your co-star still? Are you guys still friendly?
Some, yeah, yeah. Chris Knight and his wife and Ken and I are great friends, although we're on opposite sides of the country, but we have Zoom cocktails.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
It's like the pandemic when people would get together like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
How often do you do Zoom cocktail hour?
We try to do it at least once a month. Yeah. And then whenever they're out here, he was doing an event out where we were only 3 hours away. Let's go. But, we'll use any excuse to get in the car and go for a drive.
Yeah, just like when you were a kid, mom driving you around.
Yep, exactly. Love it. And then we stop at McDonald's, which is your best place for a good cup of coffee and a clean bathroom.
What is your preferred cocktail on a Zoom cocktail night?
Well, I love all the alcohols, but I have found that the one that I can best tolerate these days is white wine, is Chardonnay.
Yeah.
I love the whiskeys, the vodkas, all of that, but they don't like me. They're mean. They're mean.
Why are they so mean? Ugh.
No, it tastes so good.
And that was Eve Plum's last meal. Pick up Eve's new book, Happiness Included, Jan, Brady, and Beyond. Thanks to Los Angeles food writer and researcher Catherine Spires. Your Last Meal is a product of Seattle's Cascade PBS. Go to cascadepbs.org to become a member, and for as little as $7 a month, you'll get on-demand access to all PBS programming, including dozens and dozens of diverse food shows, news shows, old shows, travel shows, cooking shows, competitions, and my show, The Nosh. Season 3 premieres on May 21st. But you can stream the first 2 seasons for free right now at cascadepbs.org. This episode was produced by me and senior producer Sarah Bernard, who also mixed and mastered it. Original theme music by Prom Queen. I'm Rachel Bell, and this is Your Last Meal.
Saltimbocca a la Patsy with Madeira sauce, steak and peppers Frank Sinatra, jumbo shrimps Vesuvio.
Now I'm trying to think of what protein I want attached to my name in a restaurant. I mean, if shrimp's already taken, I would have chosen that. Maybe you don't want crab because of the associations.
Yes, perhaps not.